Hey, welcome to the English Talk community. I'm David, and I'm really glad you're here. This is the right place for you to practice your English without fear and without judgment. Today, we're going to talk about something that almost every English learner feels at some point: fear. Not just any fear, the fear of speaking. That feeling that holds you back, that makes your voice shake, that tells you to stay silent. Have you ever felt that way? Maybe you're in class, or you're trying to order something at a restaurant, or you're in a meeting, and suddenly your mind freezes. The words are there, you studied them, you know them, but something stops you. Maybe your heart beats faster, maybe your mouth goes dry. You tell yourself, what if I mess this up? What if I sound silly? What if they don't understand me? If that sounds familiar, let me tell you something important. You're not alone. You're not strange, you're not broken. Millions of people feel the same fear, even those who seem confident on the outside. And the truth is, it's okay, it's normal. Fear is part of the learning process. You might think everyone else speaks better than me, but what you're really seeing is only the surface. You don't know how long they've been learning. You don't see their mistakes. You don't hear their inner voice telling them to stay quiet, just like yours. So, today, we're not here to fight fear. We're here to understand it, to gently look at it and say, I see you, but I'm not going to let you stop me anymore. And we're going to do that step by step, with kindness, with honesty, and with real strategies that you can use in your daily life. You're not alone, and you don't have to face this alone. Let's take a deep breath together and move forward, one small step at a time. Let's go deeper. Now that we've acknowledged the fear, it's time to understand where it comes from. You see, most learners think the fear is about English itself, grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation. But in reality, fear usually isn't about the language. It's about something much deeper. It's about confidence. Think about it. You might know the words, you've studied the grammar rules, you've watched videos, read books, maybe even passed tests, but still, when it's time to speak, something holds you back. Why? Because fear doesn't live in the grammar rules. It lives in your thoughts, and those thoughts can be powerful. I'm going to make a mistake. They won't understand me. I'll sound stupid. What if I say the wrong word? These are not facts. They're just thoughts. But thoughts can feel real. They can create real emotions, anxiety, stress, shame. And those emotions can stop you from doing the one thing you want to do: speak. Let me tell you something important. Just because you feel nervous doesn't mean you can't speak. Just because you have doubts doesn't mean they're true. Feeling fear does not mean you're weak. It means you care. It means you want to do well. It means you're human. Imagine this. There's a small voice inside your head. Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it shouts. It says, don't speak, be careful, you'll say it wrong. That voice is fear. It wants to protect you. But it's not always right. In fact, most of the time, it's wrong. That voice doesn't know your potential. It doesn't see your progress. It doesn't believe in your growth. But I do, and deep down, so do you. The real problem is not your grammar or your accent or your vocabulary. It's believing that you need to be perfect to speak. And that belief is the root of fear. So, let's change the way we think. What if speaking imperfect English is not a problem, but a pathway? What if mistakes are not failures, but stepping stones? What if your accent is not something to hide, but something to honor? Think about your accent. Some learners hear themselves speak and immediately feel insecure. They say, I sound strange. This isn't how native speakers talk. My accent is bad. But let me ask you, who said your accent is bad? Who decided that only one kind of English is acceptable? Here's the truth. Your accent tells a story. It tells people where you come from, what languages you speak, what your life has been like. Your accent is not a problem. It's part of your identity, and it's something to be proud of. Everyone has an accent, even native speakers. A person from New York doesn't sound like someone from London. A speaker from Australia doesn't sound like someone from South Africa. Accents are natural, they are human, and yours is valid. So instead of thinking, my English isn't good enough, start thinking, my English is enough for now. And I'm improving every day, because guess what? You are improving. You're here, listening, learning, thinking in English. That's progress. Fear often comes from expecting too much from ourselves too soon. We want to sound fluent, confident, smooth, instantly. But learning doesn't work that way. Speaking a language is a skill, and like any skill, it takes time, patience, and practice. Think about learning to drive. The first time you sit behind the wheel, your hands are stiff. You overthink every move. You make mistakes. But the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. You stop thinking about every detail, and you just drive. Speaking English is the same. At first, it feels heavy, slow, uncomfortable. But with each sentence, with each small conversation, it becomes lighter, more natural, more free. So, how do we shift away from fear? How do we stop that inner voice from running the show? First, by noticing it, don't try to fight it or push it away. Just notice when it shows up. Say, oh, that's the fear voice again. It's okay. I see it. Just this small awareness already gives you some power over it. Second, by answering back with truth. When the voice says, you're not good enough, you can say, I'm doing my best and I'm getting better. When the voice says, you'll sound stupid, you can say, no, I'm learning, I'm practicing, I'm brave for trying. When the voice says, don't speak, you can say, I will speak, even if it's not perfect. These small shifts in mindset create big changes over time. So, remember this. Fear is not the enemy. Silence is doubt, avoidance is. But you don't have to avoid anymore. You don't have to hide. You don't have to wait until you're fluent to open your mouth. You can start now with the words you already know, with the voice you already have, with the courage that's already inside you. Because confidence isn't something you wait for, it's something you build. And it starts not when you feel ready, but when you decide to try. Now that we understand fear is more about confidence than grammar, it's time to talk about something that most learners try to avoid. Mistakes. Let me ask you something. How do you feel when you make a mistake in English? Maybe you feel embarrassed. Maybe you freeze. Maybe you replay that moment again and again in your head, wishing you could erase it. You're not alone. Many learners carry this deep fear of making a mistake. They think, if I say the wrong word, people will laugh. Or, if my grammar is wrong, they'll think I'm not smart. Or, even if I don't sound perfect, they won't respect me. But here's the truth. Mistakes are not your enemy. They are your teachers. When you make a mistake, you're not failing. You're learning, you're discovering, you're moving forward. Let's think about how we learn anything in life. Imagine a child learning to walk. What happens? The child stands, wobbles, and falls, then tries again, falls again, over and over. No one says, oh no, you made a mistake, you should give up. Of course not. We cheer, we smile. We know that falling is part of learning to walk. Why should language be any different? In fact, think about how many times that child falls before they walk confidently. 100 times, maybe more. But they don't give up because the goal is clear and every fall is part of the process. Now, here's the key. You have to give yourself permission to fall. You have to allow yourself to say the wrong word, to mix up the tenses, to forget a word in the middle of a sentence. That's part of building fluency. You can't skip this stage. And the more you accept this, the faster you improve. You see, when you stop running from mistakes, you start learning from them. You become curious instead of ashamed. You start asking, why did that happen? What can I do next time? And just like that, each mistake becomes a step forward instead of a reason to stop. But there's something else. Perfectionism is a trap. Many learners say things like, I'll speak when I can do it without mistakes. I'll join that conversation when I feel fluent. I'll record myself when I know I won't mess up. But here's what really happens. You wait and wait and wait, and nothing changes. You stay silent. You stay stuck. Because perfection never comes first. Progress comes from practice, not from waiting. It's okay to speak with broken English. It's okay to search for words. It's okay to correct yourself mid-sentence. That's what real communication looks like. Even native speakers make mistakes all the time. They forget words. They start sentences and don't finish them. They use grammar that isn't perfect according to textbooks, but they don't stop. They keep speaking, and you should too. Let me give you something practical. Next time you make a mistake, don't say, "I failed." Say, "That was a step forward." Repeat it in your mind. Each mistake is a step forward. Say it again. Each mistake is a step forward. You can even write this down and put it somewhere visible. Remind yourself daily. Now, here's a tip that really works. Write down your mistakes, not to shame yourself, but to learn from them. Keep a simple notebook or a digital note on your phone. Every time you notice a mistake you made while speaking or writing, write it down. Then, next to it, write the corrected version. Review it once a week. That small habit alone can help you grow faster and feel more in control of your progress. And here's something else. Celebrate your mistakes. Yes, celebrate that mistake means you tried. It means you spoke. It means you were brave. Every time you speak, you're putting yourself out there. That's courage. That's progress. Imagine if we treated mistakes as signs of growth, not failure. Imagine how free you would feel if you stopped hiding from them. So the next time you're speaking and something comes out wrong, keep going. Don't apologize. Don't shrink. Just smile and continue. You'll be surprised how little others care, and how much stronger you feel just for not giving up. You don't need to be perfect to be proud of yourself. You don't need perfect grammar to have a real conversation. You don't need a flawless accent to be understood. You just need to speak again and again and let every mistake guide you. Let's say this together. I am not afraid of mistakes. I learn from them. I grow because of them. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to communicate, to connect, to express yourself. And every time you do that, with or without mistakes, you win. Let's talk about confidence, not as something you magically find, but as something you build. A lot of people believe confidence is something you're either born with or not, like a natural gift. Some people just have it, they say. But that's not true. Confidence is not a gift, it's a skill. And like any skill, you can develop it, you can train it, you can grow it. So here's a new way to think about confidence. Confidence is like a muscle. And just like a muscle in your body, the more you use it, the stronger it gets. Think about it. If you go to the gym once and expect big muscles the next day, you'll be disappointed. It doesn't work like that. Muscles grow slowly, with repetition. You lift something small. You lift it again, then again. Little by little, your body changes. Confidence works the same way. Every time you say a sentence in English, even a short one, you're training your confidence muscle. Every time you ask a question, even if it's simple, you're building that strength. Every time you speak up, even if your heart is racing, your confidence grows. It's slow. It's invisible at first. But over time, it gets stronger, and so do you. Now, here's something important. You don't have to start big. In fact, starting small is the smartest way to begin. A lot of learners think, I need to join a big conversation, or I need to give a speech to really grow. But that's not how real confidence is built. Big jumps are scary. They create pressure, and pressure can lead to silence. But small steps feel safe. They feel possible. And when you repeat them, they lead to big results. Let's look at a few examples of small, daily actions that build real confidence. Say one sentence out loud every day. Just one, about your morning, your plans, or how you feel. Think in English for 30 seconds while you brush your teeth. Whisper a question to yourself as if you're asking someone, "Where's the nearest cafe?" Record your voice saying something simple, like, "Today is a sunny day," and listen back. These are not big moments, but they are powerful. Why? Because they create a routine, and routines help your brain feel safe. The more your brain feels safe with English, the less fear you feel when it's time to speak. Let me give you an image to hold in your mind. Think of your confidence like a seed. You plant it. At first, it's just soil. Nothing seems to be happening, but you water it every day. A little sun, a little care. One day, a small sprout appears. Then it grows. Slowly, quietly, steadily. That's how confidence grows quietly, but deeply. Now, you might ask, but what if I skip a day? That's okay. We all do. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to be consistent. One missed day doesn't kill your progress. What matters is showing up again the next day. Pick up the practice. Speak that sentence. Think that thought. Record that message. Little by little, it adds up. Here's another powerful idea. Your comfort zone expands when you use it. At first, speaking one sentence might feel uncomfortable, but after doing it for a week, it feels normal. Then you add another sentence, then you try a short conversation, then you answer a phone call. Slowly, what once felt impossible becomes part of your daily life. And this is where the real shift happens. You stop seeing English as a scary skill. You start seeing it as a tool you can use even if it's not perfect yet. That's real confidence. Now, let's address a common trap, waiting for confidence before you act. So many learners say, I'll speak when I feel more confident, but here's the truth. Confidence doesn't come first. Speaking comes first, and confidence follows. It's just like learning to swim. You don't wait until you feel confident to enter the water. You get in, maybe slowly, maybe holding the edge. But once you're in, once you move, the confidence builds. Not before. So, instead of saying, I need to feel ready, say, I'll take one small step today. That step, no matter how small, is the beginning of your new confidence. Here's something that helped many learners I've worked with. Keep a confidence journal. Every day, write one thing you did in English. One thing, no matter how small. I said hello to a coworker. I read a recipe in English. I watched 5 minutes of a podcast. That's it. Over time, when you look back, you'll see how much you've grown. Because progress is easy to forget when we only focus on what's missing. A confidence journal reminds you of what you've already done and what you're capable of. So, let's make this personal. What's one small thing you can do today to train your confidence muscle? It could be saying one full sentence aloud, recording your voice thinking in English for 1 minute, whatever it is, do it, then smile. Because every time you show up, you grow. Every small step makes your English stronger. But more than that, it makes you stronger. Let me leave you with this thought. Confidence is not loud, it's steady, it's patient. It's the quiet belief that you can try again and again and again. That's what you're building, one sentence at a time. Let's talk about something that almost no one sees, but it changes everything. The way you talk to yourself. You see, we all have an inner voice. That quiet voice inside your head that comments on everything you do. And when you're learning English, that voice can either help you grow or hold you back. For many learners, that voice is not kind, it's critical, it's harsh. It says things like, that was wrong, you sound stupid, you'll never be fluent, everyone else is better than you. Does that sound familiar? Maybe after you speak English, you replay every sentence in your head, looking for errors. Maybe you criticize your accent. Maybe you tell yourself, I can't do this. And the more you listen to that voice, the smaller you feel. But here's the truth. That voice is not the real you. It's just a habit. It's something your brain learned from fear, from pressure, from comparison. And just like any habit, it can be changed. Let me ask you this. If your best friend came to you and said, I made a mistake today while speaking English, would you say, you're terrible at this? Why even try? Of course not. You'd say, it's okay, you're learning. Mistakes are normal. I'm proud of you for speaking. So, why do we speak to ourselves in a way we would never speak to a friend? You deserve the same kindness you give to others. In fact, you need it. Because kindness is not weakness, it's fuel for confidence. Let me introduce a simple but powerful idea. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you love. When you make a mistake, say, "That's okay. I'm learning. Everyone makes mistakes. I'll try again." When you feel nervous before speaking, say, "This feeling is normal. I can still speak. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to try. I'm doing something brave right now." These small phrases, repeated daily, can change your mindset. They're like soft but steady drops of water shaping a stone. Over time, your inner world becomes more supportive, more encouraging, and your confidence starts to grow from the inside out. Here's a practical step. Create your own positive self-talk script. Write down 5 short phrases that feel good to you, that feel real and kind. Say them out loud before you practice English. Say them again when you feel nervous. Let your brain get used to hearing them. Here are some examples to start with. I am improving every day. It's okay to speak slowly. My mistakes help me grow. I have something valuable to say. I'm proud of my progress. Now, let's talk about why this matters so much. When your self-talk is negative, you become afraid to try. You stay silent. You doubt yourself. Even when you know the words, your fear blocks your voice. You might avoid conversations. You might feel ashamed for not being perfect, but when your self-talk is kind, everything changes. You start trying again, even after a hard moment. You forgive yourself for forgetting a word. You keep going, even when you feel nervous. And that's what builds real, lasting confidence, not flawless speech, but the courage to continue. Another thing, your brain believes what it hears often. If you keep saying, "I'm bad at English," your brain will look for proof. But if you say, "I'm getting better every day," your brain starts looking for that too. This isn't magic, it's neuroscience. Your thoughts create emotional responses, and your emotions guide your actions. So when you change your thoughts, even slightly, you change your results. Let me share something I've seen again and again. The learners who make the most progress are not the ones who are the smartest or fastest. They're the ones who are the kindest to themselves. They fall and they get up, they stumble and they smile. They forget and they try again, because they've learned to treat themselves with patience, with encouragement, with love. So, what about you? What kind of voice do you want in your head? A critic or a coach? A bully or a best friend? You get to choose, and today, you can begin rewriting that voice. Right now, take a breath and say to yourself, out loud if you can, "I'm doing my best. I am learning. I am improving." One more time, "I'm doing my best. I am learning. I am improving." You don't need perfect English to speak with confidence. You need a mindset that allows you to grow even when things aren't perfect. So from now on, pay attention to your self-talk. Be gentle. Be encouraging. And when that negative voice shows up, because it will, don't believe everything it says. Instead, smile and say, "Thanks, but I'm choosing a kinder way to speak to myself today." That's the voice that will carry you forward. That's the voice that will help you speak more freely, more naturally, and more confidently. One day, one word, one kind thought at a time. I want to talk to you about something that sounds simple, but changes everything. Stepping outside your comfort zone. Now, I know just hearing that phrase can make some people feel nervous. Leaving the comfort zone sounds big. It sounds uncomfortable, maybe even scary. But here's what I've learned after working with thousands of English learners from all over the world. Progress lives just outside your comfort zone, not far outside, but just beyond it. When we stay only where we feel safe, we stop growing. We wait until we feel ready, but that moment rarely comes. And while we wait, time passes. Days become weeks, weeks become months, and suddenly we feel stuck. You don't need to take huge, dramatic steps to make progress in English. In fact, that can be overwhelming and unrealistic. What you need are small, brave steps taken regularly. Let me tell you a quick story. A student of mine, Clara, was from Spain. She understood English well but never spoke it. For years, she studied grammar, watched YouTube videos, and read in English. But when someone asked her a question, even a simple one, like, "How are you?" she froze. She told me, "David, I just can't speak. I get too nervous." So we made a deal. She wouldn't try to have a full conversation. She wouldn't force herself to be fluent. She would take one small, brave step each day. On the first day, her step was saying hi in English to a tourist in her city. The next day, her step was ordering coffee in English at a cafe with international staff, then recording a short voice message in English just 10 seconds long, then asking a simple question on an English forum. Each action was small, but each one expanded her comfort zone. Little by little, she started to believe, "I can do this." Her confidence didn't arrive all at once. It grew with each tiny, courageous step. And that's the mindset I want you to try. Not, "How can I be fluent today?" but, "What's one thing I can do today that's just a little bit outside my comfort zone?" Here are some small steps you can try. Say one sentence out loud to yourself every morning. Comment on a YouTube video in English. Read a short paragraph aloud. Record your voice saying your favorite quote in English. Ask a simple question in an English-speaking group. Introduce yourself to someone in English, even if it's just one sentence. The secret is this: it's not about how big the step is, it's about how consistent you are. If you take one brave step every day, you build something powerful, momentum, and with momentum, confidence grows faster than you think. Here's something else to remember. Discomfort is not danger. Your brain might tell you, "This feels scary, don't do it." But discomfort isn't a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're growing. It means you're stretching yourself, and that stretch is where real transformation begins. We often think that confident people feel no fear, but that's not true. Confident people feel fear and act anyway. They've trained themselves to recognize fear, breathe through it, and keep going. You can do the same. So, the next time you feel nervous before speaking, try this. Pause, take a deep breath, smile, even just a little, and say to yourself, "This is me growing." Now, let's get practical. I want you to make a comfort zone growth list, a short list of things that feel just a little uncomfortable, but possible. It might look like this. Say good morning in English to a coworker. Join a free online English conversation group. Record yourself describing your day in English. Ask for help in English in a Facebook group. Practice a short dialogue with a language partner. Choose one from your list. Do it. Then come back the next day. Choose another. Keep the steps small and doable, but keep going. And every time you complete a step, celebrate. Even if it didn't go perfectly, even if you forgot a word, celebrate the fact that you showed up, that you tried, that you expanded your zone. Over time, something amazing happens. What once felt scary starts to feel normal. What once felt impossible becomes part of your routine. And one day, you'll look back and realize, "I'm doing things now that I never thought I could." That's how growth works. Quietly, gradually, step by step, and remember, you're not alone. Here in the English Talk community, we're all taking small, brave steps. We're all pushing just a little beyond where we were yesterday, and we're doing it together. So don't wait for the perfect moment to feel confident. Confidence doesn't come before action, it comes from action. One brave sentence at a time, one new word at a time, one imperfect conversation at a time. You are stronger than your fear. You are capable of more than you think. And your next breakthrough is just one small, brave step away. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a situation where you understood what someone was saying in English, but you couldn't respond quickly? You knew the words, you knew the grammar, but your brain felt like it was stuck in slow motion. That's what happens when you're still thinking in your native language and translating everything before speaking. And honestly, that's totally normal in the beginning. But if you want to speak English more fluently, more naturally, and with more confidence, then one of the best habits you can develop is this: think in English. Now, before you say, "David, that's impossible for me," let me stop you right there. It's not about thinking in perfect sentences. It's not about becoming someone else. Thinking in English can be simple, natural, and even fun if you start small and build gradually. Let me tell you about Marco. He's from Italy. And when we first started working together, he told me, "David, I think too much. I understand everything you say, but when I try to speak, it's like I disappear. I start translating, and by the time I have the sentence, the moment is gone." Sound familiar? So I gave Marco a daily challenge. I said, for the next 7 days, don't try to speak. Just do this. Whenever you're doing something simple, like brushing your teeth, making coffee, walking to the store, try to describe what you're doing in English, but only in your head. At first he laughed. That's too easy. But 3 days later he messaged me, "David, it's working. I'm starting to hear English in my thoughts." And that's the magic. Thinking in English doesn't require a teacher. You don't need an advanced level. You just need to connect English to your daily life. Here's how you can start. Step 1. Use simple words. If you can't think of the word refrigerator, say cold box in your mind. If you can't remember disappointed, say not happy. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to keep your brain operating in English. Step 2. Narrate your actions. Say to yourself in your mind, "I'm opening the door. I need to buy eggs. I'm tired today." These little mental phrases become building blocks, and over time, they help your brain connect directly to English without passing through translation. Step 3. Ask yourself questions in English. You don't have to answer out loud. Just try to stay in English. What time is it? Where is my phone? What should I eat for lunch? These small internal questions activate your thinking in English, and they make English feel like a natural part of your life. Now, some people ask me, "David, should I try to think everything in English all day long?" No, that would be exhausting. Start with moments 1 minute here, 2 minutes there. For example, when you're getting dressed in the morning, when you're walking the dog, when you're waiting for the elevator, when you're cooking, these are perfect moments to practice thinking in English. No pressure, no stress, no one listening, just you and your thoughts. And here's something else that helps. Use visuals. When you see something, a chair, a cup, a tree, try to think the word in English, then go a step further. Think of a sentence. This is a blue chair. I like this cup. That tree is tall. This builds what I call your mental phrase book short, common phrases your brain gets used to, and the more familiar they become in your mind, the easier it will be to say them out loud when you speak. Let's go even deeper. Try this game. Choose a simple object around you. Maybe it's your phone. Now describe it in your mind, using 3 English sentences. For example, this is my phone. I use it every day. It's next to my laptop. Boom. That's thinking in English. No stress. Just clarity. Another great practice. Before you go to sleep at night, review your day in English. Say to yourself, "I woke up at 7 a.m., I had coffee and toast. I worked on a project with my team. I watched a video on YouTube." This is powerful because you're using real experiences and real language to form English thoughts. And it's okay if you forget words. It's okay if the grammar isn't perfect. The goal is to make your brain feel comfortable in English. That's how fluency begins. Let's get one thing straight. You don't have to wait until you're fluent to start thinking in English. You start thinking in English to become fluent. It's not a final goal, it's a daily practice. Even 5 minutes a day of thinking in English can change the way you understand and use the language. And here's the exciting part. Once your brain gets used to thinking in English, your speaking becomes faster, your listening improves, and your confidence grows because you're no longer translating, you're just being in English. So, try this today. Pick one activity you do often. cooking, driving, cleaning, walking, and for just 5 minutes. Think about what you're doing in English. Keep it simple, keep it fun. Don't judge yourself. This is your journey, your progress, your language. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to begin. Let's talk about something most people try to avoid: making mistakes. If you're learning English, I want you to hear this loud and clear. Mistakes are not the problem. Fear of mistakes is. I've worked with learners from more than 40 countries, and do you know what they all had in common? At some point, they tried so hard to avoid making mistakes that they stopped trying at all. But the people who grow the fastest, the ones who become confident speakers, they don't wait for perfection. They speak, they write, they try, and yes, they make mistakes. A lot of them, and that's how they learn. Let me introduce you to Hannah. She's from Japan, and when she joined one of our group sessions, she barely said a word. She would listen carefully, take notes, nod politely, but when it was time to speak, she froze. So after the session, I asked her, "Hannah, what's holding you back?" She said, "I'm afraid of saying something wrong. People will think I'm not smart." And I told her what I'll tell you now. Nobody ever learned to speak a language without making thousands of mistakes. You don't need to impress anyone. You just need to keep showing up and keep trying. Hannah agreed to a challenge. I told her, "This week, your goal is to make 10 mistakes a day in English." She laughed. "But why would I try to make mistakes?" I said, "Because it means you're using the language. It means you're learning in the real world, not just in books." So she did it. She spoke more, she practiced, she stumbled, and a few weeks later she told me, "I still make mistakes, but I'm not afraid anymore, and I speak faster than before." That's the power of mistakes. When you make a mistake and keep going, your brain starts to understand something important. Mistakes are just part of the process. Now, let me ask you, when a child learns to walk, do they fall? Yes. Do we yell at them for falling? Of course not. We cheer, we smile. We say, "You're doing it, keep going." That's how we should treat ourselves when we learn a language. Making mistakes doesn't mean you're bad at English, it means you're practicing English. And practice is what makes the language feel natural. Let me give you a simple example. Say you want to tell someone, "I've been learning English for 2 years," but instead, you say, "I'm learning English since 2 years." Guess what? The person still understands you. You communicated your message. And now, next time, your brain has a better chance of remembering the correct form because it felt the mistake. Mistakes are feedback. They teach your brain what not to do. And that's powerful. But here's the key. You have to be willing to act. Learning by doing means you try, you fail, you adjust, and you try again. Let me share another quick story. Carlos is from Brazil, and he told me, "I've studied English for 5 years, but I can't speak." So I asked, "How often do you speak?" He paused. "Almost never. I'm afraid I'll say something wrong." And that's the trap many learners fall into. They study English for years. They learn grammar, vocabulary, rules, but they never put it into practice. Learning to speak without speaking is like trying to swim without ever getting in the water. Eventually, you have to jump in. That's what Carlos did. We started with 5-minute conversations. Nothing fancy, just simple chats. He made mistakes, but each one taught him something. Little by little, he got faster, clearer, more confident, and after a few months he said, "I can finally say what I want. I don't care if it's perfect, I just speak." That's real progress. So here's my challenge for you. Stop aiming for perfect. Aim for practice. Don't say, "I'll speak when I'm ready." Say, "I'll speak so I can get ready." If you wait until you're perfect, you'll never start. But if you start, you'll get better every single time. Think about the last time you made a mistake in English. Did the world end? Probably not. And most people are kind. They won't laugh at you. In fact, they'll often help, because they know what it's like to learn something hard. So instead of hiding from mistakes, look for them. Say things out loud. Try to write. Try to speak. When something doesn't sound right, great. Now you know what to fix, and if someone corrects you, thank them. That's how you grow. Remember, mistakes are signs of progress. They mean you're pushing your limits. They mean you're doing something that matters. They mean you're learning by doing, not just studying. So, here's a new way to measure success. At the end of the day, ask yourself, how many mistakes did I make in English today? If the answer is 0, then maybe you didn't push yourself enough. Be proud of your effort. Be proud of your progress. Even the smallest step forward is a victory. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to get better, one mistake at a time. Before we finish today's episode, I want to leave you with something simple, a challenge, a gentle one, but powerful if you take it seriously. From everything we've talked about thinking in English, listening actively, practicing speaking without fear, and learning from mistakes, I want you to choose just one thing you'll do today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Will you speak one sentence out loud? Will you write one paragraph in English? Will you talk to yourself in the mirror for 2 minutes? Will you listen to a short podcast and try to repeat what you hear? Pick one action, just one, and do it. Because here's what I've learned after years of working with English learners. The learners who grow the most are not the ones with the best memory or the most free time. They're the ones who take small, daily steps. Even when they're tired. Even when they're scared. Even when they don't feel ready. So, today, I want you to act. Don't wait for the perfect moment, create it. You already know enough to start. You don't need more theory, you need experience. And if you've been following this podcast, I know one thing, you care, you want to improve. You're not just a passive listener. You're part of the English Talk community. And here, we take action. So, I'll ask you now, what will your step be today? And once you take it, come back. Tell me in the comments. Share your voice. Let us know what helped you. You might inspire someone else to do the same. If this episode encouraged you or gave you clarity, hit the like button and follow this podcast. It helps us reach more learners like you. And if you know someone who's stuck in their English journey, share this episode with them. They might need this message more than you know. And remember, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be fast. You just have to be consistent. Every day you show up is a win, so take your small step today. Then come back tomorrow and take another. We'll be right here with you. Thanks for being part of the English Talk community. I'm David, and I'll see you, or better yet, you'll hear me in the next episode. Until then, keep learning, keep practicing, and never stop speaking.